So this is how that we're going to be demonstrating. I'm going to be demonstrating to you guys how to make a throughout inspection from opening the hive to closing the hive. How do you do it? And what should you look for in your hive inspection? A lot of new beekeepers and beekeepers, maybe most of my beekeepers who are watching are experienced, but this may be a good video for you to test your beekeeping knowledge. It's always good to test it and make sure that you still have everything in your head. I like to do that all the time too. This is propolis. For anybody who doesn't know, I need to get this out of here because it's getting kind of messy. There's some dead bees on here, so I'm not going to be saving any of this because there's dead bees on here when I accidentally smash them, so no need to save it when there's dead bees on here. And there's also a couple ants because there's dead bees on it. Be fine. But anyway, I'm trying to clean this hive up because I always get this pond straw in here. We have a lot of pond straw. It gets a big mess in my hives and it gets aggravating. Alright, there you go. Now we're going to lift up our first frame, and I like to start from the first frame and pull my frame up this way because once you pull out the first frame, you have room to maneuver anything else. So we'll do another video in the future about frame manipulation while inside a hive. It's really important, but to make it clear right now for y'all, since we're not going to be doing much of any of that it's really simple, but you just do need to make sure that you lift up your first frame first because your queen ain't going to be on this frame most likely. You never know with the queens, she will. But back to what we're going to be talking about. This is pollen, and I'll show you some more pollen later. This is foundation. There's no foundation in here, so it will come undone easy, and I don't want to make a mess out of it. Have a little ant right there. Those ain't the fire ants. There's fire ants are bad around here. I'm gonna tell you guys that. Then what I'll do is I'll take my hive tool and move the other frame over to the point where I can take my two fingers and lift the frame up. Easy, nice and steady. Then on this frame we got little pollen. Not much pollen, maybe just a little bit on the sides, and we got nectar in here. Nectar is honey that is not yet ready to be capped. We have brood baby bees are going to hatch out of that. And we also, in the middle, we got the larva. That's older larvae pupating, and then there'll be a pupa. And then they'll cap it, then they'll pupate in the cell right there. And then they will hatch and become a baby bee. Then they'll go through their stages in life, like to a nurse bee, building wax, being a forager, being a guard bee. So many different levels of things. And the outside is, you see right here on the outside, I hope I can get a good shot right here. You see all these cells on top. These cells on top are old cells, and you can see that some of them are starting to hatch, like this one. That one may be starting to hatch a little bit. Some of these that you can see, like, they're trying to bite off. So this once was full brood, but a lot of times beekeepers will think, uh-oh, this is a bad queen. But right here, there's full of eggs right here. That means the bees have already hatched. So what I'm trying to say is the queen will start in the middle. So those are the older bees that hatch out, and the outside, the skirt of the frame is where all the younger larvae and eggs that the queen laid. So no need to be alarmed by that. We still got a good queen here. There's eggs in this frame, and this is going to be a nice sheet of brood. This ain't the biggest hive. It was my biggest hive, but I got bigger hives now. A couple of these frames aren't full, and the reason is that, you know, sometimes they'll get kind of honey bound, and I made a whole bunch of splits out of this hive. I made about 3 splits from the top, so it kind of weakened the bees just a little bit. Maybe, I think I made about 4. One of the splits I made, well, sadly, I hate to say it, but one of those splits I made got robbed out. I talked about it on my live stream, and while we're talking about the live stream, y'all join me every Monday night. I think I'm going to start doing live streams by myself and not having all the guests on all the time. I'm still going to have guests on, but please, if you're free on Monday nights, join me on Monday night, and you can chat in the live chat box and have fun. Here's some more eggs. These are worker bees. These are nurse bees. You see all those young bees? Those are all nurse bees. or baby bees, however you want to call them. They're cleaning their cells. And this side, we have our queen. So, once you found the queen, you don't really go any more farther. But, since we are just right here in an inspection, I'm going to lift this frame back up and show y'all the queen. And the way you can tell if you have a queen, you see that one on the top here? You see her right here? There she is. There's our queen. She's about a 1-year-old queen. We got her about 1 year ago, and I'm going to keep her. And she is a really good queen. You know, I'm pretty proud of her. And I forgot how much I paid for these nukes. They're nukes whenever I got them, you know. And they're good nukes. They were good nukes when we got them. And one of the nukes died. The other survived the winter, so that's good. I fed a lot, so that changed it. And see here, on this side, look at this. We got a big old sheet of brood. See that brood pattern? And eggs on the bottom. This is just real good brood pattern. Really good. And there's a lot of bees on the bottom as well. So I see all those bees on there as well. Brood, pupae, and nectar. So I want to say, whenever you have your beehive, a lot of times you'll see nectar mixed in the brood. And what that means is one of the bees hatched, and a bee came behind that bee and filled that cell up with nectar. Nectar is honey that has not yet been ready. And I explain this to a lot of beekeepers and a lot of friends that want to learn about bees. So basically what the cappings on your honey basically is basically whenever you have pickles, you have to fill it up and then put a cap on top of it. That's what it basically is to preserve it and save it for later. That's what the bees are doing, and they save it later for winter so they can survive over winter and have enough food / honey for overwintering. Let's get this frame up, and this is a green frame, and you're wondering, what in the world is this frame? If you're new, you don't know what this is, but to make it simple, this is a green drone comb. A green drone comb is a comb that is specifically made for drones. A lot of times beekeepers will take this comb and use it to kill mites, because mites like drones better because they take 24 days to hatch, not 21 or 16 days like the queen and the worker bees do. So they have longer time to feed on the, I forgot what part they feed, I'll leave it up on the corner. But they'll sit on them and feed, I guess their organs, and for longer. That's why they like drones more. But for me, I'm raising drones. I need drones for my queens, and for getting back many queens, I want drones. I don't want to kill them. I need drones. So that's why I have a green drone comb in here. I'm not going to freeze it. And this is another frame full of brood. You see that sheet of brood? That's another sheet of brood. And this right here on the side, this is empty wax. So this empty wax is on standby mode, basically. There's nothing in it, dry wax. And it really looks like honey has once been in here. That's what it used to be. So like sometimes the queen won't go on the edge. Especially older queens. Newer queens, they'll lay everywhere. You know what I mean? They're looking for somewhere to lay. Older queens, they're still looking for places to lay. But I find that my queens, when they get a little older, they just like to lay in the middle most of the time. So unless if there was brood there and it already hatched. That's happened to me before. I have a whole bunch of queens that come back very good mated as well. This is foundation, and they're drawing it out just a little bit. I put this on about probably a couple weeks ago. Look at that. A lot of brood. They haven't drawn that out all the way. But one day, they will have it all the way drawn out. And this hive is growing. I don't know why they kind of got a little smaller, just because I kind of split them a little bit, the top deep, and I shrink them down to a this box, and I guess they got a little honey bound, so I had to take some honey frames out and replace them, so I kind of shrink them down. Look at that, more brood. That's a good sheet of brood right there. That's what I'm looking for. This side, same, a lot of brood. See those young bees? A lot of young bees. And therefore, we come to the end of our inspection. We found the queen, and I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed the video, because I'm trying to teach you guys a little bit about bees. If you're new here, please subscribe. And if you're a new beekeeper, I hope you will get more interested in bees and stick with it. That's one thing I'm always going to say, is stick with the bees, and you'll be somewhere in the next couple years, that's for sure. And if you guys know any beginner beekeepers who may be interested in this kind of content, please do let them know to come over here and subscribe. That would help me a lot. Helps me a bunch. But that's all for this video. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys on the next beekeeping video.